Hey everyone,
I'm Roxanne Webster.
and I'm Keith Alba, and we are the owners and partners at my home team at Keller Williams Advantage.
And why are we here?
Why are we here? It's yet another episode of
The Honest Hour!
That's
Yay!
right. Our opportunity to bring you no spin, less Roxanne's one spin.
Minor spin.
Talking about real estate topics, real estate adjacent stuff, what's happening out there, what we're seeing.
And we'd like you to, what do the kids call it?
Smash that.
Smash that subscribe button and hit the little notification bell.
That's right. You don't want to miss any of his valuable content moving forward, so let YouTube do all the hard work and notify you when we put some new stuff out.
So, we are 3 months out from the NAR settlement.
That's right, from the effective date, which is essentially mid-August.
That's right, and we wanted to just kind of touch bases with how we're seeing the market responding to more nuanced conversation around compensation. As far as we're concerned, the conversations we have been, and everybody should have been having all along, right?
Right. But now, what does it look like now that, it's become more public out there? It's definitely been hammered home that negotiations on compensation is definitely allowable. And
so just the broad strokes are, we are now required to have all conversations with the sellers around their compensation, what their specific compensation that they're offering to the listing agent. And then separately, is there a reason to, and do they choose to offer compensation to the buyer's agent, right?
Yep.
And what my experience has been, because I've worked with a lot of buyers this year, is frankly, I'm not calling the agents to say, are you offering this? We're writing the offer that the buyer wants to write. And the buyer wants to write an offer at these terms with this much closing costs, and the buyer doesn't want to pay my compensation. So we just write it right into the offer that we're asking the seller to do that, and then we let it be negotiated. So from a buyer agent's point of view, and I've found very little pushback from sellers on that. They bought with somebody paying their compensation.
Right.
Why wouldn't they want to increase the competition to their house?
And that's absolutely the case. There have always historically been very few buyers that were looking to pick up that cost, and it's still continuing on that. We're not having buyers come to us and say, hey, we'd like to go buy a place and we'll pay for your services.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But the way you're doing it is perfect, right? The issue and some of the challenges as I'm seeing out there is there are some agents that are still trying to grasp their mind around it.
They're not comfortable with the conversation.
Yeah, they're struggling with being able to clearly communicate the process or the different options that are out there. And so just recently with one of our listings, we sat down with the seller, had the compensation conversation. Seller's like, okay, we will agree on your compensation to be, a certain percentage. And so we sell the house, that's what we get. They were not interested in adding anything into the listing contract that discussed the buyer's agent compensation. They were open to paying it, but ultimately they said, you know what, we want to review the whole contract before we're bound to pay anything, and we're going to, check out the full terms. But if it's a good enough offer, fine, we'll absorb, that cost for the buyer's agent.
Yeah.
Which is an option. It's one that's out there. The issue becomes, because of some of these agents that aren't kind of grasping the concepts of what you're doing by entering it into the contract and negotiating it through the full terms, is they're allowing the buyers to basically put down a mandate that says, hey, if the seller's not offering any compensation, then I don't even want to go and see the property.
Yeah.
And we had that happen on this one listing that I was just referencing, right? Buyer agent reached out, hey, is the seller offering compensation? And they're open to it, but we have nothing in our exclusive right to sell that states this is the percentage they're willing to pay. They're going to look at all offers and take the totality of the offer, including the compensation, into consideration. And 5 minutes later, we got notified that the buyers had now canceled that showing.
This is interesting to me. I think it illustrates two things. I think that it illustrates a lack of skill on the part of the buyer's agent to not explain that, hey, we can write any offer we want to. But I also think that it is short-sighted on the part of the seller, right?
To an extent.
That the seller has restricted whether we can't count on skilled people on the other side of a transaction. And that, in fact, illustrated exactly what our concern is by not offering that compensation, is that you're going to restrict the number of people who look at the property.
And anytime you start fishing in a smaller pond, when you're talking about the number of buyers, it's not going to be great for a seller and
That's
their
right.
net. You know, you got a smaller pool that you're marketing to. I really see that compensation coming from the seller to the buyer as another marketing tool.
That's right.
Right? Yeah,
That's
we're
exactly
doing the marketing stuff, we're putting it out there, we're putting it in front of the buyers, and the sellers can help by being willing to, you know, to offer something and allow us to put it into the agreement. You know.
And you know, there's a common misconception. I've always been surprised that there are people out there who believe that if you list a house for X number of dollars with these terms, that you as a seller are required, obligated to accept an offer that comes in with that list price, right? You're not obligated to accept any offer, right? Because an offer isn't just about how much money it is. It's about how much money it is and what's the quality of the financing and how much are they putting down and when are they planning to close and are they asking for the appliances and what are the inclusions? What do they ask for on the inspection? So the
Who's paying the
seller's
costs
right.
associated with it. Yeah, there's a ton of different things.
No obligation to accept any offer. So really you've got nothing to lose as a seller by offering that compensation, because if an offer comes in offering that compensation that's for too little money, you don't have to accept it.
That's it. I mean, it's all now, you have it in the contract, but that's authorizing us as the listing agents to market that
That's
compensation to the other side. But ultimately, what's going to drive the number in terms of what is getting paid to that buyer agent is going to be what's written into the contract.
That you agree to.
There's a section of that, right? And you absolutely have to sign off on that as the seller, accepting the terms, and part of those terms are now going to be, you know, that buyer agent compensation in that
That's
amount.
right.
So.
Yeah.
We'll see what the next 3 months bring. Maybe there'll be some more information that gets absorbed by our peers that are out there. But for now, if you're coming on the market and you're a seller, I strongly encourage you to have a conversation with your listing agent about offering some compensation to that buyer.
It's an important part of marketing the house. Hit that subscribe button or smash said subscribe button.
That's right. Hit the alerts and that little bell so you know when we put some more of these out. And we'll see you on the next one.